A car speeds down a dusty road. Inside are two federal agents, Machete Cortez and his partner. They're going to a big three-story house to rescue a young woman from a dangerous drug boss named Torres. Machete's phone rings. It's his boss, the Mexican federal chief, yelling at him to stop and wait for backup. Machete angrily shuts the phone and crushes it. They reach the house. Three armed men stand in front of it. Machete doesn't slow down. He drives straight at them. The men shoot at the car. Bullets hit the car and Machete's partner, but the car crashes through. Machete fights back. He cuts off a man's hand when the man points a gun at him. He fights through the rooms, using his gun and his machete, taking down the men one by one. In a dark bedroom, he finds the girl. She is helpless. Machete lifts her to escape, but suddenly she grabs his machete and stabs him in the leg, then kicks him. Torres and his female helper appear. The helper shoots the girl in the head. Machete watches in horror as his partner and the house are burned. Elsewhere, Agent Sana Rivera is watching from afar. She photographs a small taco stand where a woman named Lita Sartana works. Her camera also sees a tall, strong man who sometimes comes for food. It's Machete, marked by his scar and tattoos. At the border, a van drops off migrants and tells them to walk. A young man asks for help for his pregnant wife. The driver points a gun at him. A jeep arrives, and men shout, "Roundup time." Vaughn Jack, a rich Texan who hates illegal immigrants, shoots the pregnant woman when her husband can't run. She and her unborn child die. On TV, Senator John McLaughlin speaks, calling immigrants parasites and asking for a strict border fence and armed guards. Back at a labor site, a black car stops. The driver watches Machete win a bare-knuckle fight. Later, Machete pays Lita $5 for tacos and coffee. A man named Booth finds Machete and takes him to an office. Booth shows a photo of the senator and says he's pushing cruel policies. He wants the senator killed, for the good of both our peoples, and offers Machete $150,000. He warns that if Machete refuses, Booth will kill him. Machete takes the money. Alone on a bench, Machete looks at old family pictures. He then quietly gives Lita the money, telling her to help those she cares about. The senator gives a fiery speech to a crowd. Machete climbs to a rooftop, ready to take the shot. As he looks through his rifle, he sees another sniper pointing at him. Before he can react, a bullet hits his shoulder. The other sniper shoots the senator in the leg. The plan was to make it look like he killed the senator. Machete fights past guards and Booth's men. They push him into what looks like a police car. The men pretend to be police officers, but Machete fights back. From the back seat, he stabs the driver with a knife. The car crashes and then explodes. Both fake cops die. Booth's bodyguard calls to say the job is done. Booth orders him to make sure Machete is really dead by checking every hospital in the city. But Machete survives. He is taken to a small hospital that quietly treats migrants. The staff admit him as a John Doe. Two young nurses take care of him and whisper that they must keep it a secret. The sniper arrives with more men, acting like a visitor and carrying a single flower. The front desk nurse tries to trick him. Machete turns the emergency room into a battlefield. Using surgical tools and his strength, he fights and kills several attackers. At one point, he uses a man's intestines as a rope and slides down out the window to escape. Meanwhile, Lita Sartana is at home playing a fighting video game when her boss calls with breaking news. The senator has been shot by an illegal immigrant. She turns on the TV and freezes. She sees Machete. Lita drives home and finds Machete wounded and limping. She takes him into her house. She tells him the truth. The leader image she shows people to give them hope is just made up. Machete tells her she is stronger than that and can fight back against the cruelty they've seen. Booth's men close in on Lita's house. A henchman knocks on the door, but a steel-bladed machete smashes through and kills him. Machete ambushes the attackers, killing one with a spinning move. Booth's bodyguard rolls a bomb to the house. Seconds later, Lita's home explodes. One of the attackers flies through the air and lands on Sana Rivera's car. Machete survives and limps away. Sana finds him. She pulls a gun and forces him into her car. She tells him she works for ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and wants answers. Machete admits part of his plan. He meant to shoot the senator in the neck to stop him from speaking, not to kill him. Sana cooks a simple meal for Machete, trying to get him to talk. He tells her Booth paid him $150,000 for the job, but keeps the real reason he accepted it a secret. He notices Sana's hand near a knife, so he points his gun briefly to keep her in check, then says he plans to find the person who ordered the hit and bring them to her. He leaves to start that plan. Lita takes Julio and his friend to her garage and shows them the small weapons she keeps hidden to protect the people she helps. She tells Julio that if anything happens to her, he must find Machete and tell the community why he matters. Machete visits a Catholic church. The priest there is a former federal agent who retired and became a padre. The priest turns on the TV. It shows Senator McLaughlin with Michael Booth at a press conference after the shooting attempt. Machete sees Booth and realizes he was the one who hired him. He also learns that Booth isn't just a fixer. He works for the senator. At Booth's estate, Machete pretends to be a gardener. Machete attacks. He takes down one with a heavy tool and ties up the other, hiding them in the yard. At the pool, he finds April and June. He takes a hidden camera April had been using, along with several DVDs from Booth's office that have sensitive information. He leaves a teasing note and hides everything back in Booth's storage box. When Booth returns, he watches the footage and is shocked to see April and June kissing. Meanwhile, Senator McLaughlin's team uses the assassination attempt in a TV ad, showing him as a brave defender who took a bullet for the state. On the street, Vav and Billy confront Lita as she locks her garage. Vav accuses her of being behind the attack. Lita refuses to back down. Vav pulls a gun and shoots Lita in the face, leaving her badly hurt on the road. At the church, Osiris brings henchmen to attack. But the priest is ready. He saw them coming on a security monitor, grabs 2 shotguns, and uses his training to fight them off. He faces Osiris alone and nearly wins, until Booth suddenly shoots him in the leg. Booth and Osiris drag the priest to the altar and nail his arms to a cross. They demand to know Machete's location. Padre refuses, knowing he will die anyway. Booth keeps nailing him and finally kills him. Meanwhile, assassins surround Machete and Lita's safe house. Machete and Lita fight back, taking down waves of attackers. Lita even fights the masked leader using her high heels as weapons. After the fight, Machete sees the priest's crucified body. He sends a chilling text to Booth. "You just messed with the wrong Mexican." Machete storms Booth's house, defeating his guards. The head bodyguard gives him a GPS tracker showing Senator McLaughlin's limo. At a press conference, McLaughlin limps out with a cane to look hurt. He rants against immigrants, calling them invaders and terrorists. But a reporter shows live footage of Booth killing the priest and McLaughlin's ties to Vaughn, including the murder of a young migrant couple at the border. The senator loses control. He shoots Booth multiple times, hijacks a taxi, and runs away. Elsewhere, Julio leads Machete to an auto chop shop. Workers have gathered all the weapons Lita once hid in her garage. Machete tells them that taking down Vaughn will lead them to Torres. At Vaughn's compound, Senator McLaughlin arrives but is not welcomed. Vaughn calls him a traitor and plans to execute him on live camera. McLaughlin is tied to a chair and forced to confess that he betrayed his oath and deserves death. But the revolution has already reached Vaughn's gates. Julio and the workers arrive in armored cars with RPG launchers, blowing up towers and gates. Doc Felix drives in with his ambulance. His 2 nurses grab automatic guns and start shooting Vaughn's soldiers. Then, everyone is shocked. Lita steps out, alive. She wears an eye patch and looks like a tough warrior. Vaughn's soldiers abandon the senator's execution and rush to fight her. Lita and her fighters storm the shed where McLaughlin is held. She tells the senator that if he wants to live, he must act like a revolutionary and follow whoever will spare him. McLaughlin awkwardly puts on denim clothes and a peasant hat, holding a pistol to blend in. Billy grabs a few men and runs, leaving the rest behind. Suddenly, a hearse smashes into the compound. McLaughlin stumbles through the smoke and sees a young nun approaching. He falls to his knees, begging for last rites. But the nun is actually April in disguise. She fires 3 shots into his chest, then grabs an automatic rifle and joins the fight, taking her own revenge. Vaughn Jack realizes he has lost and rushes to his jeep, shooting at the revolutionaries as he tries to escape. Just as he steps inside, he sees Lita's reflection in his rearview mirror, the last thing he sees before the fight catches up to him. Meanwhile, Machete faces Torres in a final battle. Their blades clash as they remember their past as fellow federal agents. Torres used to fight for honor but now only wants power. The fight is fierce. Torres disarms Machete and tries to behead him, but Machete grabs another blade and stabs Torres in the torso. Torres realizes he's defeated. He throws aside his katana, kneels, takes Machete's machete, and kills himself in front of everyone. The last henchwoman who opposed the immigrants silently walks away into the night. Ex-Senator McLaughlin wakes up. Lita had given him a bulletproof vest that saved him from April's shots, though he is still hurt from the hearse crash. He limps toward the border, hoping to escape to Mexico. Billy and the few remaining men from Vaughn's army ambush him. They shoot him, leaving him tangled in barbed wire, echoing his own cruel words from before. "Welcome to America." Finally, Machete reunites with Sanaa. She offers him a green card, but he refuses, saying he's already a legend. They share a passionate kiss and ride off into the night together, leaving all the chaos behind.